Biden's never-ending quest to kill the fossil fuel industry has consequences, like putting Americans out of work and creating huge tax revenue losses for states like Texas. But don't panic, Biden's Interior Secretary nominee has a plan, and it might be as dumb as telling laid-off oil workers to go build solar panels. Watch.
In 2018, you campaigned on eliminating oil and gas production in New Mexico. And you were specifically asked how you would make up for the loss of oil and gas royalties, which the state uses to fund public schools. And your answer was you would vote to legalize cannabis.
I think the point of that ranking member was to say that we should diversify our funding streams for our education and not just rely on one.
Here now, Karl Rove, former George W. Bush chief of staff and Fox News contributor. So, Karl, is maybe cannabis revenue one of the better choices that John Kerry was discussing?
Well, let's look at it. The Congresswoman in question who's a nominee for the Interior Department is from New Mexico. New Mexico derives $2 billion direct oil and gas taxes to the state, revenue generally used for education, and another $300 million a year in indirect revenues. These are sales taxes and income taxes on oil drilling and other services connected with the energy business. So $2.3 billion a year from oil and gas revenues in New Mexico. This is from the State Legislative Finance Committee. Colorado marijuana taxes last year and fees totaled $387,480,000. So if her plan was in effect for her home state, the school children of New Mexico would be only about a $1.9 billion light. Now, what does this mean? New Mexico oil and gas taxes work out to about $1,090 per person in the state of New Mexico. There are about 2.1 million people in New Mexico. Colorado dope taxes work out to $66.80 per person. State has about 5.8 million people. So the average New Mexico resident would need to smoke 16 times as much dope as the average Coloradan in order to generate the lost revenue. That would be one stoned state, if you ask me.
No one's going to be able to work at all if this is the route that they take. And you had to bring two whiteboards tonight to explain that to everybody. Really quickly, we hear that Beto Robert Francis O'Rourke is back in business in Texas, maybe planning to run for governor. We know that he's your favorite subject, so we wanted to be able to bring you on and comment on his latest comeback.
Well, he's been planning to run for governor for the last year, and he was the captain in charge of the Democratic voter registration and get out the vote effort. They've issued an autopsy report this week saying we don't know how or why, but we lost the voter registration battle to the Republicans, who out-registered us by at least 88,000. And we lost the get out the vote effort. They expected that they would win the Senate race, that they might carry the state for Biden, that they'd pick up at least 3 and perhaps as many as 7 Republican congressional seats. They got 0. They expected to take the Texas State House of Representatives. They made absolutely no gains. They lost the Senate race by double digits. The president won with a comfortable reelection. That has been the handiwork of Robert Francis O'Rourke. So how do they reward that? They say, let's run him for governor. God, the Texas Democrats, they can't get their act together. I'm looking forward to seeing Robert Francis O'Rourke on the campaign trail, because he's already been out there for about a year and a half since he lost his dismal race for the presidency. Nothing succeeds like failure for him.
Well, Karl, I think he just needs one more Vanity Fair cover saying he's born to do it and born to be here, and he'll make it. Yeah. So I think that's all he needs, the last push.
Absolutely.
All right, Karl Rove.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 2 whiteboards tonight. Lucky us.